Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Good morning everyone. Yes, so we will discuss important articles from 6th October, the Hindu newspaper. Let us have a look at this paper. So first of all, again, that Lakhimpur Kheri violence that happened, we are going to have follow up later on, but this is to some extent political news. Okay, so we need not to go into detail, but the another news here, it says climate experts theorists get physics Nobel. Okay, so as I had said yesterday, we talked about Nobel in medicine. Today they announced Nobel in physics. In coming days they will announce in economics, peace prize and literature also. Okay, so we'll talk about which are these areas where they have researched on, that is important for our examination. Now moving on editorial page directly. Yes. So lead article, RBI microfinance proposals that are anti-poor. Okay, so RBI microfinance proposals that are anti-poor. So there is one consultative document on regulation of microfinance institutions have been released by RBI, and it provides for further relaxation in regulations of microfinance institutions in deciding the interest rates. And the writer is saying that it is to some extent anti-poor policy making. Okay, it will result into more and more higher interest rates, and that will result into, let's say, costly credit to the poor in rural India. We will try to understand, going to discuss from economy perspective GS3 paper. Okay, then yes, on left hand side, yes, we already discussed AUKUS. Okay, so we will not discuss that again, same things are given there, AUKUS and quad grouping. Okay, we discussed many a times now. Yes, there is one article on op-ed page, the Met on the mat. Okay, so former CBI director is writing about police reforms that are required. Okay, so the context here is recently there was a death of woman teacher in London, and how the police, metropolitan police, are not able to protect women in London. So similar kind of atrocities have been observed in US last year. George Floyd death, that has resulted into Black Lives Matters movement, right? So in India also, in Tamil Nadu, there was a death, custodial death of a father son businessmen, right? So that death, so that was in news again. So these are the context, and the article discusses about need of bringing the culture of ethics among the police. So police reforms is one such area where we are expecting question in GS2 paper. Okay, yes, so we will discuss that part. Now coming on page number 8, there is article Denmark Prime Minister arriving on Saturday. So from international relations perspective, you should be aware that Scandinavian countries like Denmark, they are very much ahead in terms of technological developments in renewable energy. And surely India is going to benefit from bilateral cooperation with Denmark, because it is one such country having very advanced technology in wind energy development. And this article talks about one project being developed in Tamil Nadu. Offshore wind project is being developed in Tamil Nadu, Gulf of Mannar region. Okay, so this is good development. We can talk about renewable energy cooperation, international relations. Okay, now moving on, again all of these are political news almost. Okay, so on page number 12, health benefit package under Ayushman Bharat revised. Okay, so what are these changes made in Ayushman Bharat scheme, and all basic things about Ayushman Bharat scheme, about government schemes. So whenever such important national level government schemes are in news, So we are going to discuss basics about them, those provisions, some factual information that is important for prelims examination. Okay. Then on the same page there is UNICEF report, youth hit by COVID's mental toll. Just underline that the name of the report is the State of World's Children 2021. This is flagship report of UNICEF, flagship publication. So the publications and reports of all these international institutions, that they are important for prelims examination, right? So this is flagship publication of UNICEF. So it is talking about on my mind, promoting, protecting, caring for children's mental health. Okay, so try to note down these factual information. We are not going to discuss them directly, rather like this we are going to cover these articles. Okay. Yes. Now on world page, page number 14, Facebook whistleblower calls for regulation. Okay, so further discussion will happen about this. Actually already there are calls for regulation of these tech giants. In India we had come up with these regulations, rules, IT rules 2021, right? So these social media platforms are to some extent the soft touch regulation, what the government is calling it. Okay, but more regulation is required. This is what the whistleblower is saying. Facebook is deliberately protecting the critical information. Okay, at the same time the Facebook is itself aware about that the youth may get addicted to its platform like Instagram or WhatsApp or Facebook platforms, but still it is promoting that platform. So to some extent unethical practices are there. Okay, so that's why it is calling for more regulation. So Western countries, especially US and UK, they may take some actions now in future. So we will have follow up on that later. There is one article, Biden promised to defend disputed islands, Kishida, newly elected Japanese Prime Minister, right? So it mentions about Senkaku Islands, the disputed islands in East China Sea with China, right? So location of this we are going to understand, geography mapping perspective it is important. Okay. Then on page number, let's say, yes, on page number 6, Andhra Pradesh request to divert river water is untenable. It is talking about Tungabhadra river. So we will just have a look at this river and tribute, which let's say it is tributary of which other river. So mapping part we are going to cover that from Atlas. Okay. So let us discuss now these articles one by one in detail. Okay. RBI microfinance proposals that are anti-poor. Okay. So this article talks from economy perspective. You should be aware that microfinance is very important aspect of financial inclusion. Okay, financial inclusion. What is financial inclusion? Bringing more and more people under formal credit system or final banking system, we can say, so that they can avail the credit from the formal institutions instead of informal institutions like money lenders in the villages. Okay, so this is, we can say, financial inclusion. Now let us understand about what this particular regulation is saying. Yes, or this document. The objective is to promote the financial inclusion of the poor and competition among the lenders. This is what RBI's document is having the objective. Okay, so it wants to expand the financial inclusion and wants to promote the competition among the microfinance lenders. Okay, but the argument given by writer, it is saying that it will result in expansion of microfinance. That is good thing, but we can say that the provision of credit at high rates of interest to the poor This is negative impact. Then huge profits for private lenders. To some extent, it is promoting privatization of the financial inclusion, or that we can say microfinance especially. Okay, so let us understand this aspect. Okay, first thing we should understand that microfinance largely is related or focused in India, in rural India, providing credit to rural India, and that to poor households at subsidized rate. Okay, so interest rates. So whatever the credit that we are providing them at subsidized rate. However, there is flooding of private microfinance institutions. At present, microfinance is given by all type of financial institutions, be it commercial banks, NBFCs, then we can say other private microfinance institutions. All these provide microfinance. Okay, but the RBI regulation on NBFC sponsored microfinance institutions, there are some restrictions or the upper limits, upper caps on interest rates for these institutions and not on others. This has been to some extent discriminatory practice, but this was required initially to protect the rural poor households from, let's say, high interest rates. Okay, now it is being argued that that upper cap is to be removed. This is what the recommendations are saying in the document. Okay, first we should understand the upper limit of this NBFC microfinance institutions interest rate, that capping is to be removed. Second recommendation, it says that promoting competition will result into lowering of interest rate automatically. Okay, so free market phenomenon, supply demand dynamics, right? So all these private microfinance institutions, well, when they will compete with each other, automatically they will try to reduce their interest rates. This is what the document is arguing here. Okay, so these are the recommendations, but we should understand the impact of these recommendations or these changes on rural poor household, especially women. We should understand that microfinance is very much important for women-led self-help groups. This has acted as, or microfinance at subsidized rate, interest rate, has acted as a very important, let's say, incentive for the women-led self-help groups. And this has been very important component of women empowerment and prosperity in rural areas. We all know about that. Self-help group, GS2 paper, that is separate subtopic, right? We should be aware about that. And microfinance is very important component there. Now, when there will be increase, probable increase in the interest rates by these private microfinance institutions, it will affect the women-led self-help groups. Okay, so this first thing. Second thing we should understand, the impact is on rural poor and their ability to receive or access to the subsidized, or we can say nominal interest rate credit. Fine. So again, what will happen, whatever the financial inclusion that have been achieved up till now, the rural poor will again resort to informal money lenders, saukars. We know Chettiar, saukars, different names in different regions are given to these money lenders, right? So basically we should understand that this will threaten rural poor and women led self-help groups. So this will be having negative impact. At the same time, we should also understand the evolution of microfinance in India. Okay, so how it evolved during 1990s, after the LPG reforms, many private players in the, let's say, finance or providing credit, they emerged for the microfinance. Before that, there was only commercial banks and public sector banks largely providing credit in rural areas. But their reach was limited. Their reach was limited, and therefore government started promoting microfinance institutions. Okay, and that was formal sector. Okay, so they were non-banking finance companies and private MFIs. They started. Now what happened after, let's say over a period of time, there was predatory interest rate decided by some of these large NBFCs, and because of that, what used to happen, there was no healthy competition. That affected the rural credit provisions, and therefore RBI came up with regulation of NBFCs, and there was upper limit on interest rates. So to some extent it helped rural poor in availing credit at subsidized or nominal, we can say, interest rate. Okay, so this is the evolution you should understand. However, now the microfinance institutions reach in the rural areas is increased, and now RBI wants to promote the healthy competition. Okay, up till now the reach was less and only few large NBFCs were promoting this microfinance, providing this microfinance, and that resulted into, we can say, increase in the interest rate of this credit or loans that was provided. So now we can say that RBI wants to promote competition and remove such upper limits on interest rate. RBI says that these microfinance institutions, the governing bodies of these institutions, they should decide interest rates by themselves, and automatically let's say when there will be open market competitions, they will decide the interest rates according to whatever the, let's say, the profit decisions that they are going to have or profits they are going to have. Automatically they will bring down the interest rates. This is market phenomenon, right? Competition. But we can say that if suppose the market forces are not properly working, then it is going to impact the rural poor. In this manner we should understand this. Okay, fine. Microfinance, GS3 paper, financial inclusion. There can be question on financial inclusion. If the direct question is not asked, indirectly the question will be on financial inclusion. Okay, yes, any question?
Non-banking and financial institutions are below high interest with high conditions for the poor people. They are mostly most of the rural people are going to be exploiting the unwanted rules and without any prior information to them. They will give the loans and after them they are going to be exploiting their assets from the farmers. That is the main drawback of non-banking.
Yes. We can say that NBFCs are not completely regulated by RBI. They are loosely regulated. Okay, they are loosely regulated by RBI, and to some extent you are saying correctly this, how they impact the rural poor people, poor household. Suppose they are providing loan. Okay, so on that loan they have to let's say pay some premium, then suppose the installments are decided, then what they are doing, they are giving loan as a credit online, but they are recovering the loan in cash. This is mentioned in the article. Okay, this is what the rural practice is there, because the rural people or let's say farmers, they are not transacting in the online manner. They do not know about what is these online platforms and all that, right? So they recover from cash. So if suppose the installment is not paid, then there is some kind of harassment. Okay, so suppose there is delay in the payment of installment, they will use very harsh words. They will insult the farmer in front of neighbors. Okay, this is actually the observed practice by these we can say non-banking, even let's say commercial bank officials are also doing same thing. Leave aside the NBFCs actually. There was very good case study framed by Ansari sir 2 years back in that test series. Okay, sir takes case studies batch actually. In that there was one case study and it was saying that you are the head of that, or you are responsible for recovering the loan. Okay, and you go for such, let's say, recovering of installment in one such village with your team, and you know that the people are very much fearful of let's say those officials, okay, in the villages. So how will you approach to those farmers who have taken loan? Okay, what will be your approach, what will be your actions? Okay, so basically it was talking about how you need to behave. Suppose the installment is not ready, so whether you will provide some time window to that person, how will you interact with the family members? In front of family members there will be children, right? There will be women, there will be neighbors, relatives. How will you react to that person, that farmer? Okay, so there are actually many cases, there were many cases in Marathwada Vidarbha region of Maharashtra. Because of harassment by these officials, there were suicides by the farmers.
Recently, one of the cases has been like first starting they will take the two or three reference of their relatives members. If they are not, a candidate has been not paid to the money in particular period, they will give the possibility to their relatives and their whatever the candidate circle now they are going to be publicity targeted.
Yeah. Yes, this is what indirectly the harassment is being done. Okay, in different manner they will shame, actually shaming is being done in front of other villagers. This is resulting into suicides also. Extreme steps are being taken. So actually this is wrong behavioral on behalf of officials. This is wrong behavior. So you can mention that aspect also in terms of reforms and regulations of NBFCs in recovery of loans and all these things. But we are specifically talking about here financial inclusions, regulation of these microfinance institutions. Okay? Yes. The Met on the mat. Yes, it is talking about metropolitan police or city police. So police reforms is one such topic where we are expecting in GS2 paper question, and especially a behavioral aspect. Okay, so there can be case study in GS4 paper regarding police officials, their behavior also. Okay, so article is having the context of recent murder of women teacher in London. Okay, so irresponsible behavior by police officials resulting into death of woman teacher in London. A similar kind of cases happened in London, in UK. In last 3 months there were around 40 to 50 such deaths of women happened. Okay, so that's why it is being criticized there, and basically the commissionerate or police commissioner of London is women officer there. So despite of that it is happening. That last year death of George Floyd in US. So this was also criticized. Protest happened there. Black Lives Matters. This year death of father and son in Tamil Nadu, where they kept their shop open after stipulated time. Okay, so beyond stipulated time. So they violated this what we can say, yes, COVID norms, and because of that they were kept in the custody, and there was torture in the custody, and there was a death of this father son both. Okay, so again it was criticized, the police officials. Now we should understand that the argument, police organizations in several parts of the world are not trusted for civilized and lawful behavior. Okay, let us analyze this argument. Okay, we all know that the police institution, it is having still some kind of colonial image of protecting or establishing only law and order. Okay, so still it is being considered that the law and order is the only responsibility of the police and not, let's say, protecting the lives of the people or having some kind of human interface with the people, okay, or serving the people, we can say. So colonial hangover, we can say, this institution is carrying, and to some extent the my bap culture is still working there. People are still fearful of police officers. You know what happens in rural areas? Suppose a police official in uniform comes, the other all people are fearful of, without any reason also, because what happens is there has been some kind of atrocities in the past by the police officials. Without reason there has been let's say harassments, and this has been, let's say, prejudiced we can say attitude of the people towards police institution. And there has been, let's say, instances of reforms especially led by judiciary, but they have been limited. So judiciary from time to time has come to reform police institution, like there was Prakash Singh judgment 2006. So many points were given, they have not been implemented. Police is state subject, this is differently implemented, or reforms have been conducted in different states. Some of the states advanced police reforms have been conducted, but other states they are not implemented. At the same time, the political executives, they use their or misuse, abuse their authority to, let's say, for their vested interest, carrying out vested interest, they use police machinery for that. Okay, so this is also a wrong thing, we can say. Along with that, we should understand whatever the reforms that are required here, the reforms in terms of, let's say, infrastructure, that is fine. Okay, so there should be CCTV cameras in police stations, there should be, you know, body cameras. This is being implemented even in the Western countries. Still the deaths are happening, right? Body cameras, it is not there in India still, but yes, in Western countries it is being implemented. That should be implemented. Yes, car is having cameras, GPS, everything is there. Okay, that is not in India, but still we should implement that. However, the writer is saying that in addition to that, this will not be sufficient. Rather, there should be some kind of culture of ethics that will bring the visible transformation among the police institutions or in the police institution. The culture of ethics, obviously there should be some kind of behavioral change. Behavioral change in the work culture of the institution, in the offices. These are part of your ethics paper. Okay, so civil servants, they are also civil servants, public servants, right? So there is need of change in the work culture as let's say part of police institution or organization. Behavioral change is required. So in behavioral change, what we can expect from police institution? Yes, still people fear going into the police station. You know what they will say. Why we fear? Because the police tend to blame the one who comes in to file the report.
When we enter in police station, they will come first saying to me, "आपको particular person."
आपकी गलती है. They will say that आपकी गलती है. कुछ भी हो गया, चोरी हो गया, दरवाजा क्यों खुला रखा, आपकी गलती है. Right? So basically, there is need of, let's say, change in attitude. Then we can say that there is need of soft behavior. Softness is required. Okay, so police institution is known for hard behavior, or there is some kind of, let's say, strictness, and the whatever the voice they use, the words they use, everything is it is not to some extent people friendly. Okay, so people friendly is required. Okay, ऐसा कभी हुआ है क्या कि the person who comes to file the FIR, so the police official is asking, please sit down, do you want to have water or do you want to have tea, please calm down, we'll note down your complaint. These are not the words. This should be actually the approach of police official.
They are changing.
Some places, at some places they are changing.
Sir, in this article, the writers compare US, UK, and India. But sir, we are totally different from that. Sir, in those countries, even men can arrest women accused with any behavior, with any kind of cruelty. But sir, here it is not there. And sir, we are changing, not like that.
Yes,
also.
yes, yes.
But sir, we are in softer side. From sir, क्या पहले से सर इतना भी हार्ड नहीं जितना ये बोल रहा है.
Okay.
Sir, ऐसे
No, see,
sir, in
largely.
soft attitude. Sir, how police can
Whatever the changes that are happening, do you know they are only happening in some of the metropolitan cities? At district level,
Yes.
still the same thing is going on, whatever we discussed. Whatever the changes we are observing, that are only at the city level, some of the cities. Okay, and they are progressive, we can accept that. And they are being done by some of the change agents, civil servants. Some of the, we will say that the IPS officers, they have made some progressive changes. Now the reforms are also being taken, especially all women police stations are being, like, so yes, that is good thing. But still what we need is more and more training in these aspects.
Sir, in point of that hard language, sir, कोई तो बोलेगा ना, sir, if I have done mistake, then you will say, you have not read NCERT, it's your fault. So, sir, it's my fault.
That is good thing.
But
See,
not at sir extreme level.
See.
They are talking by the right.
see, there is some kind of patrilineal behavior. ये जो होता है ना, आपकी गलती है, ये सही नहीं है. What we observe at some of our households also, what our parents do, गलती होती है बच्चे की, उसको पहले डांट देते हैं, तुम्हारी गलती है. कुछ झगड़ा करके आया घर पे, तुम्हारी गलती है. First you should listen to what that person has to say, then tell that ये भी आपकी गलती है. इसको सही अप्रोच बोलते हैं, राइट? दिस इज राइट अप्रोच. फर्स्ट यू लिसन टू व्हाट दैट पर्सन हैज टू से, बिकॉज लार्जली ही इज गेटिंग अफेक्टेड. उसकी गलती हो उसको पता भी नहीं होगा, बट पहले आप बोलोगे आपकी गलती है तो वो गुस्सा हो जाएगा, हर्ट हो जाएगा, राइट? सो बेसिकली इट इज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द पुलिस ऑफिशियल टू वी कैन से create some kind of situation, comfort situation for that person. Then you can tell him that ये भी आपकी गलती थी, you should do that next time, it should not happen. All these things you can do. Obviously it will help in we can say reducing whatever the negative image of the police officer. Next time that person will not hesitate to come in police for filing the report. This is very important, right? So yes, we need to have some kind of training in this aspect. Okay, so this is, we can say that it is called as sensitive training. Sensitive training is required in terms of soft skill. This is soft skill. Okay, this is very much required, and you need to write this. Culture of ethics is involving all these things. Okay. Yes, any other question you have?
Sir, I think in military sector and some of the central technical sector, they will mandatory, they have the observatory system department as well as the refreshment training. Every 6 months they need to national should be to attend the refreshment of training. In military, every 6 months they have the psychological training. If the person is fitting the duty or not, they will mandatory, they will take each and every point. At the same, that type of system is an option in civil police. That is the main drawback to be citizen.
Let me tell you, even police institution also has in-service training. Okay, they also have training for soft skills. They have introduced now. Okay, they have 1 week, 3 days, 4 days sessions, workshops for the police officials, but that largely limited to higher officials. That is also true. Okay, PI and upper officials, for them it's so lower let's say level employees, so for them, like for SHO or let's say constable, head constables, for them also training is required. At the same time, the training module further needs to be improved. Training modules, though in theory they are good, but in practice they need to be effective. No, there is need of some feedback mechanism also, whether they are being effective, these training modules. So next time there should be some kind of team visiting police officers in terms of civil dresses, and they should go for, let's say, understanding whether the behavior is changed, whatever they have been taught. Such kind of things can be done, right? So feedback is required. Yes.
Sir, in first lockdown, I used to go for homeguard meeting. So I would take part there. So
Okay.
for enjoyment, sir. Sir, I have noticed one thing. Sir, if they behave properly to any one citizen, sir, then sir, citizen actually think that person to like it. Sir, if DYSP and SPA persons level sitting and even PI, sir, if they are giving their proper answer and all, फिर सर वो lightly इतना ले लेता है जैसे अपना भाई हो.
Yes, that is also wrong. Obviously, that's why law and order is the ultimate responsibility, right? So for that purpose, they need to have some kind of strong message to the society, implementing law and order, right? So that requires some strong decisions, strong actions also sometimes. Okay, so that should not result into casual behavior. Whatever you are saying, that is fine, that is accepted. They need to have some kind of formal behavior. Formal behavior is required. But those who are in distress, no. Those who are in distress, so towards them they need to have different behavior, right? Okay. Yes. Okay. So Denmark Prime Minister arriving on Saturday. We will look into what kind of discussion that may happen between Indian leaders and Prime Minister of Denmark. Yes, so they are going to have discussion related largely to climate, what you can say, financing and technological support for renewable energy projects, especially one of the project, Energy Island, being developed off the coast of Tamil Nadu in Gulf of Mannar, where the proposal to produce 4 to 10 gigawatt of wind power energy is being discussed. You should remember that Denmark is having very advanced technology in wind energy. Okay, very high, let's say, level of wind energy contribution in its energy mix, Denmark. So we are going to benefit from that technology as well as finance. So it will help for us to achieve whatever the commitments that we have made towards UNFCCC or Paris Agreement. Okay. So after this meeting, we will try to know what is the outcome of that meeting. Again, it will be in news. But remember, Denmark, wind energy. This is mentioned in NCERT also, one of the NCERT, okay. Wind energy plants. In India, where is the wind energy potential and being harnessed?
In Kutch.
Yes, Gulf of Kutch and even in Gulf of Mannar. Remember this. And then there is we can say the potential is there in Sundarbans also, Gulf of Khambat also. Potential we will say. Offshore wind energy plants we are saying. Offshore. Okay. Yes. Health benefit package under Ayushman Bharat revised. Okay. So National Health Authority, which is the apex body to implement this scheme, has revised the health benefit package master under this particular scheme. Okay, so what changes they have done? So rates of some packages have been increased by 20 to 400% under Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, one of the component of Ayushman Bharat scheme. And at the same time, let's say black fungus have been included as a package, medical package. Okay, it will be rolled out in November this year. Fine, let us understand about this particular scheme now. Ayushman Bharat scheme. Yes, that is flagship scheme of central government. It has two important components. What is the objective? objective is universal health care. Okay, it was launched as a part of 2017 National Health Policy, recommended by that. Universal health coverage, it is the vision. Okay, now it has the policy, or we can say leave no one behind. Leave no one behind. Okay, so two components of Ayushman Bharat: health and wellness center, it is infrastructure component, and Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, this is insurance, health insurance component. Remember in this manner. Okay, there are two components: health and wellness center, infrastructure related component, and Jan Arogya Yojana is insurance. We will try to know about both. Health and wellness center, in February 2018, Government of India announced the creation of 1,50,000 health and wellness center by transforming existing sub-centers and primary health centers. Health and wellness center will provide more comprehensive health services to the people. We are trying to further improve the health services that are provided through sub centers, or we will say community health centers and primary health care centers. Okay, how our health system works, are you aware about this? In rural India, at bottommost level there is PHC, then there is district hospital. This is how the healthcare services goes on. Primary healthcare, community healthcare services at block level, and at district level, district hospital is there. Largely district hospital caters for tertiary services, specialized care services. Okay, and remaining services are largely covered by these. Okay, yes, this is basically from public sector, we are saying, government. Private sector, everywhere it is available. Okay, now the second component we will talk about is Jan Arogya Yojana. Now this is very important scheme in terms of health insurance. Yes, it is world's largest health insurance or assurance scheme, fully financed by the government. Some factual information for prelims: rupees 5 lakhs per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization across public as well as private empaneled hospitals in India. This is very unique, both government and private hospitals, but they need to be empaneled on government platform. Okay, so that under this scheme the hospitals are being empaneled, and then the hospitals are being reimbursed by the government under this scheme for providing these services. There will be cashless access to healthcare services, no cash payments. Directly the card will be there, each beneficiary will directly swipe that card. Membership is there under Ayushman Bharat scheme. Accordingly, the provisions of healthcare services. No restriction on family size, age or gender. So family size, here we are talking about per family, right? Family members can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, any number of family. Immediate family we are talking here. Okay. Then the portable services across the country. So if the person has taken the benefits in one state, suppose he moves to other state, then there also directly he can take the benefits, remaining benefits of that year. So it is portable. That is good thing. Okay. Now, so services include approximately 1,393 procedures covering all costs related to treatment. Okay, so this is actually comprehensive health package for insurance, right? So it covers up to 3 days of pre-hospitalization, 15 days of post-hospitalization expenses. So all these things are covered. You should be aware that this is entitled to poor and vulnerable families. And what is the criteria? Socio-economic caste census 2011. Beneficiaries are identified as poor, below poverty families, and number of families identified are 10.74 crore poor families. Okay. Now, moving on, Biden promised to defend disputed islands, Japanese Prime Minister said. So, we wanted to tell you the location of these islands. They are known as Senkaku Islands, disputed between Japan and China. Look at the location near China, the location is this one. Okay, so these are Japanese islands, and basically Japan claims over these Senkaku Islands. In Japan they are known as Senkaku Islands. In China they are known as Diaoyu Islands. In Taiwan and we can say China, they are known as Diaoyu Islands. Okay, remember this. This is in East China Sea. This is the claim of Japan. This is the claim of China. On this side, on this side. Okay, so there are two more islands in South China Sea, disputed group of islands, Paracel Islands and Spratly Islands. They are also many times in news. Okay, Spratly Islands and Paracel group of islands. Okay. Climate experts, theorists get physics Nobel. Okay, so 3 people got physics Nobel Prize this year. 2 scientists, US Japanese scientists Shukuro Manabe, then Klaus Hasselmann of Germany. These 2 got prize for their work in physical modeling of Earth's climate, quantifying variability and reliability, predicting global warming. So, to some extent it is released before the Glasgow summit, COP26, that is going to happen, and it is explaining that climate change or global warming has scientific basis. It is recognizing this. Many times world leaders deny climate change, like earlier President of US Donald Trump. Remember that? So recognizing this will provide the scientific basis for global warming, right? And these models, they establish this in a, let's say, on the basis of physics, scientific principles. The second half of the prize awarded to Giorgio Parisi of Italy, the discovery of interplay of disorder and fluctuations in physical systems from atomic to planetary scales. Just remember the wordings. We need not to go into details of that. Okay, it is talking about, let's say, details of or how the physical systems work from atomic level to the planetary level. Okay, so they have been explained in those models. Last year in 2020, the physics, let's say, Nobel went to the researchers for their research in black holes. Last year. Okay, so previous year, 1 year at least you should remember. Fine. Yes, what should be answer to this question then? Third is wrong. 1 and 2 correct. Just now we looked into the location of these islands. Senkaku Islands are not in South China Sea. They are in East China Sea, and I told you Paracel Islands, they are in South China Sea. Paracel and Spratly Islands. Okay, Diego Garcia is very famous, no? It is in Indian Ocean.
Sir, we are looking for base, military base.
Yes, already there is US military base. They are foreign territory of UK. Diego Garcia, and it was in news last year. The people of Diego Garcia, they want to be independent from UK now, right? So that's why I added Diego Garcia there. So answer is C is correct answer. There is one more mapping based article. We'll look into that part. If you are having atlas with you, open the map of India, South India especially, physical map, and it will help us to know the location of Tungabhadra river. Yes, so you can see the location of Tungabhadra river as a tributary of Krishna river. Okay, so Krishna river is originating from Maharashtra, then entering into Karnataka, and then along the border of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, right? So Tungabhadra, there is Tungabhadra reservoir, there is dam in Karnataka, right? So this is tributary of Krishna river. Now you can see about the Krishna river. Earlier there are two important tributaries to the Krishna river. They are Ghatprabha and Malprabha in Karnataka. They are originating from Western Ghats. You can see the location of Ghatprabha and Malprabha, and they are meeting Krishna river as right bank tributaries. Okay. At the same time, Tungabhadra is also right bank tributary of Krishna river. Okay. Is this clear, all of you? So location of these rivers, at the same time the dams, important dams and reservoirs across these important rivers, both Himalayan and peninsular rivers. So this should be the part of mapping for prelims examination. Okay, any other question?
Sir, in that wind energy topic, sir, if question asked in GA, sir, can we mention the problems which we face in like synchronizing of grid?
Yes, yes. So they are not generally grid connected.
Sir, this problem, synchronizing is their problem. So they are transferring it to DC then AC.
Yes. Obviously, what we need to focus there, because they are storing that in the batteries first of all, and then yes, that becomes the problem. Surely, already the wind farms are there in Gujarat and Maharashtra also. Okay, and those wind farms, what are the problems with wind energy? Intermittent. Wind energy intermittent hota hai, right? There is no always continuous flow of wind, and but largely we will say that the offshore wind power is very much consistent as compared to, we can say, land. Why? There is no obstruction, na? Over the oceans there is no obstruction to the flow of wind, so that's why the consistent wind energy can be harnessed.
So there is also a problem, sir, in here that sir, that whole windmill. So they have to earth like this much diameter of copper line. So people are taking that pure copper line.
That is again different problem. Okay, so obviously manufacturing cost is huge. Wind farms, okay, those turbines and those blades, huge. Okay, and second thing is that the material that needs to be used, non-corrosive material is required for offshore plants, right? That is saline water. Obviously the non-corrosive material is required. So basically installation cost is more, but we will say maintenance cost is less. This is the problem with all type of renewable energy plants. Installation cost is more, but maintenance cost is less.
Sir, in diesel there is main drawback, sir, that water particles will damage the blades and engines in wind power.
Water?
Water particles of solid will damage the
Yes, corrosion is happening. Yes, that is the major aspect. Yes, non-corrosive material is required. That's why we want to have their technology. Okay, Suzlon company is very famous for production of these blades and turbines also.
But sir, they are sir, main problem with these countries, Germany, sir, they are keeping data with them, all that wind energy data, and they can control from there also.
Okay, I don't know about that, but the technology transfer, if they are agreeing with India, that will be good for India. Okay, and financing is also required, obviously. Okay, so you should remember that after solar energy, wind energy is the second highest target in that 450 gigawatt. Okay, so earlier there was 150 gigawatt target, and in that we should remember second highest was wind energy, the target that is given by Government of India. So we are focusing on that now. Already we focusing on solar energy. Now we want to harness wind energy also. Okay? Yes, fine. Let us stop then. We will meet tomorrow at the same time.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.